Hello and welcome, and yes, this is all my fault. I'm sorry, I'm going to explain what happened and we're going to go into it. But this is my full breakdown of the balance update and data slate changes the Games Workshop released for Warhammer 40,000 in December. Yes, of course, we're showing the Drukhari stuff that's right here, but we're going to go over most of the things. We're going to just give you a general overview of what I think. What I think it's going to change for the meta going forward, what we can expect, and of course, why in the world did they put a red number next to my beloved Void Raven bombers? Now, if you know anything about me playing Warhammer, no! I don't know. I feel like someone at the studio ended up getting bad touched by Dark Eldar sometime, and they were like, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make him pay." Whoops! I take full responsibility for that. It is definitely my fault. But hello, welcome to Skaredcast. I'm Skari, your grateful host. Of course, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the balance update and data changes and all that stuff. It's going to be a generic overview. We are going to stop on the Drukhari stuff and talk about that a little bit more in depth. And then we're going to basically discuss some of the main changes. There are quite a lot of things that have changed in the balanced update, the data slate update, and of course in the Minotaurum field manual, so all the point changes. Some factions are going to go up. Some factions got hit. What is certain is the meta is going to change. The landscape of the game in the landscape of the game for Las Vegas Open, which is happening in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, right? Las Vegas Open, wild. It's going to be the Wild Wild West. We'll see what happens. I'm really excited. I'm planning on going. So hopefully I'll be there. I'll see all of you at LVO. Get excited. Let's roll some dice together and all that good stuff as well. We've got everybody in chat. Wurzog, Pirate Panda, Kalith, what's going on? I'm really, really excited for the future and what's going to happen. However, let's break this down, okay? Games Workshop released an update not too long ago. All of this month, they're doing the Grotmas. So they're releasing detachments for basically every single faction in the game. They gave Deathwatch an entire index. Today, they released a Librarian detachment for Space Marines. As a Black Templar, Purge the Witch, Destroy the Witch, so I don't really care. But I am very excited about breaking them down, and I look forward to seeing all the other ones, right? Whichever ones they release. And it's kind of cool because it's sort of like just throwing a wrench in. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. You know, it's like, whatever. It's just mixing things up, especially for a lot of the index factions, and I think that is a good thing. So hopefully it sort of like remains true to it, right? But let's dive in to some of the main changes. Hello, SimConti and Sindri. Now, before we get started, of course, huge shout out to the channel Patreons and the members here on YouTube and everybody who likes, shares, subscribes to the videos, and enjoys all the content that I make. I love making content, and I'm glad you find it enjoyable. If you'd like to support the channel, the best way is on Patreon. The links are everywhere, so check it out. Show me some support over there. Join the Discord, etc., etc., etc. It's going to be a very fun, exciting time. Okay, let's dive in. Balance update. So a lot of these changes are in relation to how the points have changed, right? So a couple of really important changes. Number one, this little thing right here. No longer do we have a 3-inch deep strike. Everything that was 3-inch deep strike is now 6-inch deep strike. As a faction that did not get 12-inch denial bubbles, I cannot say how much I enjoy this. This is a good change. I think it's cleaner for the game, and it makes playing against certain armies, Grey Knights, Genius of the Occult, Aquilons for guard, like a heck of a lot easier. So, you know, good riddance on 3-inch deep strike, to be honest. Good. Stratagems that weren't armor penetration. So armor contempt style stratagems only work against the a specific unit. So it's not for an entire phase anymore. So armor contempt is not like a super buff. You know, it's like a buff that you get against one target. So you have to use it a little bit more judiciously. And I think that's good. It also means that you can have multiple things firing at one target and go, well, am I going to bait it out with this unit? Yes, okay, now I have a different unit that can shoot, and no longer do you have like the armor contempt, which is actually a big deal, especially against an army. An army like mine benefits a lot from this, because I have lots of little units that can do lots of shooting in different places, and it's nice to be like, okay, well, you're going to get against one of these units, and then, you know, the rest of my army gets to be a little bit more effective. So that's very, very good as well. Modifying CP cost didn't change, so everything else. So in terms of core rules, that's pretty much one of the main core differences. I believe they also might have changed. They might have changed some of the where is it? The stratagems as well. They even changed, you know, the what is it? The Pariah Nexus Tournament Companion. And they also, you know, might have changed the core rules updates or whatever. So we'll see. Core rules update. We'll see if that is relevant over here. Maybe we can kind of check that out if we need. There we go. That's the core rules update. I haven't actually gone through and seeing if there's any differences in here, but since we're talking about core rules, we'll just quickly go through it. In the meantime, we'll answer any questions. Hello, Sindri. Hello, SimConti. Jim says, as a Grey Knight player, I agree that the removal of 3-inch deep strike was just feel bad to have to take objectives. Yeah, and unless you were very good at like screening out your objectives or had a 12-inch bubble, it was like you were just in a bad place like almost the entire time, right? Okay, so here's a change. Fire Overwatch did change as a core rule. Now you can, so you can declare Overwatch, normal, advanced, or fallback, or if a charge is declared. So before, you couldn't Overwatch unless there was a physical move. So if the charge failed, there was no Overwatch. Now, though, if somebody declares a charge, you can Overwatch. That's a small change, but an impactful change as well. So I think that's important to make a note of. I haven't really seen any other red stuff. And again, this is the first time I've gone through this, so I don't really know anything either. So we do have some rules commentary stuff, but it seems like that might be one of the only changes. It was like, to be honest, it's like super, super tiny in a sense. Like, why re-release a whole thing to just be like, you know what? You should be able to Overwatch against someone declaring a charge into you. You know, sure. It was like one of those technicality things where, like, people would like, oh, I'm gonna shoot you when you declare that charge, and you'd be like, you have to wait until I roll these dice. Yeah. I think it just makes it a little easier to, like, you know, do that as well. So, yeah, other than that, that seems to be the only main change in that book. Cool. My favorite part of the day, second, just before reading our point changes. I know, right? Just before. And then they were like, and stab. Point changes for Drukhari in the gut. Felt it right in the, right in my gut. Rowan, how's it going? What do you think about the Tantalus? Yeah, Tantalus is good. The only thing I don't like is the AP2 and how big it is. But I love, Tantalus is great. I'm building a list with 2 Tantali. Tantaluses. Anyway. Morning, Rashius. What's going on? Can make charges fail? Yes, true. Yeah, but you can always take your casualties so that the charge doesn't fail. But true, you know, you could 100% make a charge fail. Super Heavy's getting nerfed indirectly through Leontis. It's almost like they don't want Baneblades to be used, just like Flyers. I know, it's like Flyers, Baneblades, like they're like, no. And then, you know, we're seeing all these updates or leaked updates, not leaked updates, but like in new packaging for like Knights and stuff where they might be going down and like, or they are going down. I guess. I don't know if they're doctored images, but, you know, toughness and all that stuff. So we'll see. Scary, they finally let Mortarion Deep Strike. I know, I did notice that. And I was like, oh, Death Guard players rejoice. You can now Deep Strike Rapid Ingress Mortarion and be like, rah! Which is really awesome. Bastion Wargaming, good evening from Poland. Hello from Canada, snowy Canada. Happy that my Custodes bike's sad about the Void Raven. I know, sad. Funny that increased grotesque can't be bought. My Necrons are a nice place. Yeah, good. Han says, hey, Scary, ran 3 Scourges. Last RTT went 2-1, but they're so bad at not killing. That's true. Scourges, I have a love-hate relationship. Thomas, hello from Finland. Hello. Hello, Rashius. Sisters chat is very depressing. You know, it's fine. Whatever. We'll get our ups and our downs. You have to take the ups with the downs. Okay, I've been playing this game for 26 years. Okay, no breaks. No breaks since I was 13. 12? Since I was 12. I'm very old. Okay, let's go into let's go into some faction rule changes. So, big changes to Adeptus Sororitas. So, Miracle dice are now at the start of each battle round, you get 1 dice, and then at the end of each phase in which you kill the Sororitas unit, you get 1 dice, which is massive because you can try and lay out like killing 4 or 5 different units in a single turn, and like they only get 1 dice at the end of the phase. That is a huge change, but it is in line with like Eldari Fate dice getting reduced to like 6 dice instead of 12 for an entire game, unless you take different things. So they still get more control, like more dice than like Eldari do, but like the mechanic is the same, so it's still very, very powerful. Also, the Triumph of St. Catherine is now the miracle dice you get in the battle round is a 6 instead of an additional dice that is a 6. So they just lowered the quantity of them as well. So now also for Bringers of Flame, less range on the +1 strength, which is good. CP increases as well. 6 inches range, so lowering the range, increasing CP costs. Penitent Detachment, great change here, means you can select one of the following things. Awesome, means you don't have to do it in order or like from turn 1 to 3. Opens up Penitent Host as something that you could actually use. Custodes, this is a big change, I think, making the bikes tougher. More wounds, tougher. I think they went up in points to compensate. And then their guns got a big increase. Like the salvo launcher is now twin-linked, strength 10, AP 3, D6+1. Incredible change to the salvo launcher, which means that now you don't have to just take Caladius tanks in order to like be able to kill tanks, which is a big deal. And the Hurricane Bolter is 2 damage, NAP 1. Like super Hurricane Bolters, which is wild to me. You get really close, they just nuke stuff. And then, of course, the Quicksilver Execution for the bikes is now a normal move. So you can, like, do 6 mortal wounds or 7 mortal wounds to a unit, or 8 mortal wounds up to a max of 6? Yeah, 8 mortal wounds with a captain by normal moving onto a unit. Like, they can do a lot of damage. I think bikes are back in vogue with Custodes, which is great. Especially now that, can you move through walls with bikes in that new detachment, or is it just vehicles? But hello to everybody in chat. Mike, Woody, what's going on? Rashius, Penitent Fix is what was needed. I agree. I think it's nice to have a detachment rule or something that's like, you know what? You get a choice. Here are some cool rules, but you can choose. How do you want to use them? Here's like the framework. Instead of being like, no, you have to use this, and then this, and then this, which was... I don't know. I don't know why they wrote it that way, but I guess they had an idea or a concept. It didn't pan out as well. See that Amazon secret level short? Oh man, I did. It was great. No spoilers, but I enjoyed it. It was good. You can ignore the terrain with bikes in the attachment. Awesome. That means you can like yeet through terrain. It's great. So then we have some changes to Adeptus Mechanicus. Did they change anything? Not really. I think they stayed pretty much the same. Cool. Although the new detachment is kind of weird with the ability to, like, I don't know, give their rule to knights and stuff. I don't know. Is that intended? Who knows? Eldari stays about the same. Then we have Astra Militarum. Quite a few changes to the Guard. Not surprised, considering Guard were quickly becoming one of the best factions in the game. I love it. I love it when the regular humans are like an integral part of the game. I think it is a fantastic like thing to just have dudes with las guns, just like actually be scary with like battle tanks. I think that's good for the game. But basically big changes. Lord Leontis can only order regiment and squadron, so they can't order Bulgrin or Ogrin anymore. You can't order Baneblades, for example. Cool. Okay. That makes sense. I think it was more for the Ogrin than anything, and Bulgrin. The precision drop, of course, changed to only a movement phase and 6 inches, so you can't like rapid ingress and stuff like that anymore for like closer than 9, which I think is a good thing. And then we go to Blood Angels. No changes there. Black Templars. They changed a couple of things on melee weapons, but that's like amongst all Marines. Just wait till we get to the Marine stuff, by the way. The Marine changes are wild. Like, if you thought Ultramarines were good at all, you're going to love Ultramarines now. They or any other chapter that's not like the other chapters like Space Wolves and Blood Angels. Like Space Marines, God, I think they are going. They're like, you know what? Let's inject some life into the poster child of our game by making Space Marines like murder stuff. So, and I think they're going to do that effectively. So, I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of all the changes? Right? Like, what do you think? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Like I love that they change stuff. I hate that they do it so quickly and sometimes erratically. It's like, why did you change this? But then sometimes they make good changes, but it's like a good change is surrounded by like 4 ones that you like raise your eyebrows at and you're like, why? Chaos Knights. Harbingers of Dread. You get each model from your army with the ability has the Dread abilities. I don't know why that had to change. I don't understand why that's a change, but sure. Aura Terror is control objectives. Sure. Trader's Mark. Battle Shock tests. Select a unit in the movement phase, so you can, I guess, move and get in. I think it's instead of command phase or whatever, maybe. Then we have Chaos Space Marines, 6-inch Deep Strike. Then select an infantry. Yeah, so 6-inch Deep Strike instead of 3, I guess. Hey, Sean, what's going on? Predator Annihilators can now reroll damage rolls against monsters' vehicles. Cool. You only saw Destructors because the autocannon was just, like, way better in general. Chaos Demons. The only thing I saw that changed is Screamers. Their weapon got anti-monster, anti-vehicle, and hits on 3s now. Neat. Maybe gives you, like, they went up in points too, but Screamers used to just be something that were there to, like, score points and stuff. But maybe they can do damage now. I'm not a dedicated demon player. I could see enjoying that rule in, like, casual games, but does it make a big difference? Who knows? And then we have Dark Angels. Okay, number 1. I played against Olivier and his Dark Angel list at the WCW. Great game. But they made Master Maneuver cooler, right? They added mounted units can shoot and charge when they advance or fall back, which is awesome. So it makes other units really cool. And then the Master Maneuver, you can reroll advance and charge roll Bear's unit, basically making it change. So you can have, like, that detachment is great. Company Hunters, I was very surprised at how good that was, especially with, like, an Ironstorm level build of just, like, a bunch of stuff everywhere. It's, you know what I mean? Like, just interesting to see. Then we have nothing crazy there. And then we go to Inner Circle Companions. They're fine. Lionel Johnson, okay? His sweep goes to 2 damage. I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty good. Yep. Ravenwing Black Knight's melee weapons gain devastating wounds. Okay. Sure. I guess instead of what? Anti-monster, anti-vehicle 4+, they just gain devastating wounds? Is that just like a thing now? Or Black Knight combat weapon. Ah, that's not their Corvus Hammer. Interesting. Okay, so they can Corvus Hammer or combat weapon. Neat. Grandmaster ability. +1 advance and charge if they're in a hunter's detachment. So pretty cool. Then we have the Plague Company. I don't think that changed too much. Death Guard Predator Annihilator can reroll damage rolls against monsters' vehicles. Sure. And then Deep Strike on Mortarion. Deep Strike. Deep Strike. Alex says, hi, Scary. Looking at your title of this video, you know that comic of the guy biking, complaining about aiming, but putting a stick on the front spokes? That's you and Void Raven complaint, LOL. I'm literally just leaning into it. I'm totally leaning into the fact that it's my fault, and I take 100% responsibility for that. I'm still going to use 2 of them. Okay. Deathwatch. The new index is pretty cool that they released. We'll go over that probably. And then Drukhari, nothing really changed there. Okay, so let's get to one of the biggest changes of the current edition, the Genestealer cults. Okay, I had talked about this on the Stutter Scrub podcast with Dustin, and this was like my solution. I was like, I think they should do a point buy system. And guess what? They introduced a point buy system. It's not perfect, but it's something. So you are guaranteed to have units come back as a Genius of the Cult. You have to purchase the thing coming back as soon as they die using points. So you have 10 points at 2,000 points, so 10 resurgence points. But something like 10 aberrants is 8 points. 5 aberrants is 5 points, right? 5 models are usually 2 or 3. 10 models are usually 4 or 6, right? So you can have a combination. So 2 to 3 units, right? Unless you do 1, 2, 3, 4. So unless you do 5 units of 5 that can just come back over and over again, right? Which is good. But it means that as a person who plays against Genius of the Cult, I know what's happening. I'm not like, will they come back? Will they not come back? Like, you just know that they're going to come back and they have a limited resource and they can just use them as you go. Plus, you can kind of wait. You can kind of kill little things. Like, say, for example, you had a big unit of 10 aberrants and then you had like a bunch of 5-man units. I could kill a 5-man unit and go, are you going to resurrect them? And they go, sure. Now they have 8 points. And then I go, I'm going to kill another 5-man unit. Are you going to resurrect them? But they might not want to because I might kill their 10-man strong aberrant unit, so they're trying to keep their aberrants alive, right? So like, no, I'm not going to. Okay, I'm going to kill a 10-man unit of like, guys, do you want to resurrect them? And they're like, no. And they're like, or as soon as they resurrect something else, you're like, okay, now I can kill the aberrants and I know they're not going to come back. Like, I love the fact that there's a little bit more control and you can plan. I think it is a good thing. So, let me know what you think as well. Cool. Units of Cult Ambush. They just kind of clarified a few things there. Tunnel Crawlers is 6-inch deep strike instead of 3. Makes sense. You mounted a vehicle, get +1 OC instead of double OC, so no crazy like super OC, a billion little buggies, which is good, and you can sticky objectives. Now, I do like the fact that like Xeno Congregation, 2 additional resurgence points. Okay, that actually makes sense now. Demolition charges go to 8-inch range because now 3-inch deep strike is 6 inches, so it makes sense that you can actually 6-inch deep strike and still shoot your demolition charges. The Calomorph got changed to a 9-inch reactive, within 9 reactive move instead of 12, so it makes it a little easier to deal with them because they were really annoying to deal with as well. So all in all, great change for Genius of the Cult. I think that's a good quality of life. And then, of course, a couple of things, changed in points as well. Hello, Izzy. What's going on? So, Grey Knights. Nothing too crazy there. Imperial Agents. Collector's Assassin went to 6-inch deep strike instead of 3. Sure, in your movement phase. So no more rapid ingressing like 3 inches away. Imperial Knights didn't get any changes. Leagues of Votan, I don't think changed. Nope. Necrons. Okay, a couple of changes for Necrons. Annihilation Legion got a ranged +1 AP if they're close attacking the closest unit. So good for destroyers that are shooting, right? Because now there's a detachment rule that helps for combat and shooting, not just combat, which is good. And then, of course, the Hypercrypt has less units to go up into uppy-downy. So it's a little bit more manageable. Still annoying, but, it's not like, oh, all the stuff all the time. So it is a direct nerf to sort of like that uppy-downy style build as well. Then we have Orcs. Amazing change to Orcs. Orcs can declare a war at the start of their command phase now instead of start of battle round. So they just gain control of their detachment rule, of their army rule. Massive. The big hunt can affect characters now, which is great as well. And then, of course, a couple of different changes to some things. But the big one here is you can call your war at the start of your turn in your command phase so that you don't have to, like, it's like the effectiveness of your war isn't depending on if you went first or second. I think that's great for Orc players. Skari got spent all that time getting good at screening. What a waste of energy. Now it just makes my screening easier because being able to screen 6 inches instead of 3 is massive. It's just it's so much easier to screen. So I'm very happy about that. That's for sure. But good on you, Orcs. Okay, let's dive in to, I think, one of the main changes in all of the land, which is Space Marines. Okay, so Space Marines got a massive, massive, massive change. Like just a bunch of changes that I think are going to crank Space Marines up to crazy. And you can agree or disagree with me on this, but I absolutely think it's going to have a humongous impact on the way the game is played. Number one, Oath of Moment. So as long as you're not Templars, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Death Watchers, Space Wolves, so if you're Ultramarines, Imperial Fists, like all of the other, like, you know, Salamanders, all that stuff, or just a generic Space Marine chapter, you get a reroll hit roll against your Oath and +1 to wound your Oath target. Excuse me. That's very good. Very, very good. Okay, that alone means that Space Marines are going to be extra good at killing their Oath target. Not that they weren't good at it already, but they're just extra, extra good, which is very, very good. And the impact of that means that whatever they're oathing is probably going to get murdered very, very fast. And the thing is, by increasing the efficiency of how quickly they can kill a unit, it frees up all their other units to do other things, which I think is very, very good. Paul is bad at stuff. Shout out to Paul. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Yes, it is a humongous change and is a good change as well. I love it. I play Black Templar, so I don't get to benefit from that. But if you're a regular Space Marine player, go wild, go crazy, have some fun with it, right? So strong the Oath works on all units, even those already powerful units. Yeah, Ultramarines are crazy, and Gulliman, like the Primarch, being able to pick 2 abilities now, he can always pick like a second Oath. So you can kill your 1 Oath, kill a second Oath, and then he has another ability on top of that. Like, and he can go through walls now because he's a Primarch. So it's like, it's wild. Wild. Do Ravagers with triple disintegrators make sense? Potentially, you know. It's just they're low AP. They're just really crappy AP. I wish they were like higher AP, or that we had a way to ignore cover, right? I, Kato Sakaris, approve this message. Good changes to Marines, so let's dive into them. Gladius Task Force. Fire Discipline Enhancement got nerfed. Sure, like every time there's a really cool combo like that, Games Workshop looks at it and goes, no. So I'm not surprised it got changed. Probably not going to see that very often. Gravis Armor, ranged weapon, went to 3 damage. All the like heavy intercessor stuff, 3 damage or extra damage on the ranged weapons, really good. A really cool thing I'll say is like Lysander, Shrike, Khan, Pedro Cantor, like all these characters that are very iconic for specific chapters. In the past, they had a rule where it was like, if you take this as an HQ, all these units became troop choices. So the way they've added that in now is with they basically like new inspiring leadership style things, where if you take a character in an ability, if you take those characters, certain units in your army get better objective control, right? So like, you have Lysander giving extra objective control to Terminators and the Terminator Assault Squads, right? You've got Shrike giving it to Assault Intercessors with jump packs. You have Khan giving it to Outriders. You have Cantor giving it to Stern Guard Veterans. So that's sort of like a lore accurate like change. I like that. It's not like we really saw those characters anyway, but giving those characters something to make the rest of your army more iconic. So if you take Shrike, you're more likely to take Intercessors with jump packs to make them a little bit better at like mission play. If you take Khan, then Outriders become better at playing the mission. So you might have like a White Scar army that's more like Outrider heavy. I like it. I think that's a good sort of like quality of life change. In heavy Intercessor squads, weapon damage went up. Infernus squad, their AP went up. I love that. That's really, really cool. They changed 3-inch deep strike to 6-inch deep strike. The Infernus squad has -1 to the ballistic battle shock test when they shoot against infantry. Cool. Intercessor squads get a really cool new rule, which is like the old super rapid fire, which is something they have had in the for a long time. They brought it back. If you basically get 2 extra attacks for bolt rifles, But you can only, as long as they pick one unit, they get to double the attacks on their bolt rifle. So like a 10-man unit of just regular intercessors gets 40 shots with their bolters. Imagine on an oath target, and with +1 like reroll hits and +1 to wound with all those bolt rifle shots. That's 40 bolt rifle shots at 24 inches. Like that is wild. And then you could get like ignore cover from a land speeder and like I don't know, some other ability. Like it's actually for only 160 points. Like it's kind of stupid, if you ask me. It is. It's my fault, Catroy. Catroy. Yes, it's my fault. Oh my goodness. Yeah, lots of 3 damage weapons in there. Father Pharaohs does it to heavy intercessor squads. Cool. I like it. Then we have Predator Annihilator, got the same rule. That's just across the board. Predator Annihilator's got that rule of re-roll damage rolls against monsters and vehicles. So Reaver squads, -1 to battle shock test, Terror Troop abilities, -1 OC. If you're within 3 inches, which is awesome. So that's really good. It can really mess up with OC, especially against OC1 stuff. Then we've got Repulsor Executioners, goes to 7 models. Neat. Then we have Gulliman, who basically has to pick 2 of his cool abilities in the command phase instead of 1. Crazy good. Sternguard Veterans reroll wound rolls against the Oath target. So instead of get +1, they get... So, like, Sternguard Veterans are nuts. You can Oath, reroll hits, reroll wounds, and then potentially a +1 to wound if you're playing, like, regular Space Marines. Sternguard Veterans are dangerous. And they can have all combi weapons and super heavy bolters and stuff. Really, really cool. Troy says, till next year. I know. All of this is really cool until they choose to nerf it. You're very right. I get really excited about this stuff because I've been playing for so long. It's nice to see some changes, but you never know, right? Then we have combat blades and knives. So AP1 given to like a bunch of just little combat weapons. So if a combat weapon like a knife is being used by a Space Marine, it has AP because they're stronger, I guess. Vulcan Heston makes Inferno squads better OC, which makes sense. And that's the main changes. So Reaver's got a big boost. Gulliman got a big boost. The characters from different chapters are they gave them a boost by like boosting other units to kind of help with mission play. Infernus Marines got a bit of a boost. Heavy Intercessors and like the Gravis Captain got a bit of a boost. And then Oath, which is like the biggest boost, right? Which is really, really cool. The new Space Marine detachment, but chapter compliant Sternguard veterans can do 25 mortal wounds on average. I know, it's crazy. With all the new librarian goodness. As I said earlier, I'm a Black Templar player, so purge the Xenos and destroy the alien and heretic witches. So Wolf Scouts, melee weapons on Space Wolves go up. Seems like that's standard. They did that to Black Templars as well. Thousand Suns didn't really change at all, except for the Predator Annihilator. Got the reroll damage roll. Will we see any Predator Annihilators? I don't know. Tyranids, really neat. So Tyranids Assimilation Swarm. Basically, they took away you have to be on an objective or whatever. I think it's just like you just regenerate units now. So like as long as you got Harvester stuff, you can heal your monsters and things. Cool. I think that's really neat. Other than that, nothing else really changed other than the Norn Assimilator finally got Harvester, which made... I don't know why it wasn't something that was there from the beginning, okay? That was just, it is a Harvester unit. Trigon Subterranean Tunnels, 6-inch Deep Strike. Okay, we can move on. World Eaters. The Demon Prince ability gives you an invul, a 4-up invul if you had a 5-up, and a 5-up invul if you didn't, I guess. Short. And then Annihilator as well. And that's pretty much it. So those are the main changes, in terms of the balance MfM update. And now we get to see how some of those changes impact with the rules, with the Minotaur Field Manual. So these are all the point changes. So I'm going to go over the main changes of the Minotaur Field Manual, faction by faction. I'm going to tell you what I like, what I don't like. And when we get to the Dark Eldar one, you're going to see me cry a little bit. But also laugh a lot, because it's totally my fault. And I'm going to be unapologetic about it. You know what? You're welcome. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Drukari community. That's all my fault. It's too funny. It dodged, the Void Raven Bomber dodged it for too long. He was like, wee, wee, dodge nerf, dodge nerf, dodge nerf. And now they're like, no. And they pulled out the Hydras. We're like, pop, 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 pop. And now it's dead. But I'm still going to run 2 because I really, 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 really love my Void Ravens. They can't stop me. They can't stop me from running them. Anyway, it really is my fault. I know, I'm sorry. Paul says, I wish that one day I can be blamed for something being nerfed. It feels like an honor. I know, it's all over. Everybody's blaming me, and it's true. You should blame me. I totally may. I didn't even take them to the WCW. Oh my gosh. Anyway. I know. It's not like most people don't play the Void Raven Bomber, but it's just funny because I love the Void Raven Bomber. Yes, you get ruled for blame with. Was that the Hive? Were you the Hive Tyrants, like Mucilid Spores Hive Tyrants back in the day? Was that your list? I know, like that was like the list that like led to the Rule of 3. It was like 9 flying Hive Tyrants or whatever that was back in the day. 10 Plague Burst Crawlers. Oh my gosh, 10 Plague. Like before Rule of 3, chaos abounded. Chaos. If you could play Rogel Dorns to get those nerfed, that'd be great. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Rogel Dorns, we'll see what happens as well. Just ask Scar to play a Faction S to get it nerfed. You know what? Maybe I could have a special Patreon tier where you could like hire me to mess up a faction. It'd be like, just can you play this faction all year to like make sure it gets messed up? That's really funny. Okay, let's dive into the Minotaur Field Manual. So, Adeptus Sororitas, we did see some changes to their like amount of faith dice. The Castigator goes up, good. Castigators are silly. Exorcist goes up, good, because Exorcists are too good, right? And is that it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, nothing else really seems like crazy. It's all good, where is everything? Where's St. Celestine's good, Paragon's good, Vol's good, Priest's good, Palatine's good, Canoness, Triumph of St. Cat. It's all good. Castigator, like it's good that they went up. Like they were annoying, so I'm glad they went up. Custodes. Okay, so not really any changes other than bikes went up. Why? Well, because they got a huge boost. They got extra wounds, they got extra toughness, their weapons got increased. So this is like a preemptive nerf, as in like, okay, we're going to buff them, let's raise the points, see if they're good at those points, and eventually, like, if they still don't get used, they'll bring them down. I could see that happening as well. Kendall, people, they would really want to play us in Rex. Adeptus Mechanicus, no changes really, other than Castle and Robots went down. They are used in the new detachment, I think. So, it's good that they went down. It's nice to see them get a little bit of love. I think it'd be nice to see some changes to kind of get them. I love the punchy ones. The punch with like double fists and like a flamer. I think that's one of the best little builds you can do with them. Titanicus, no changes. Oh no, my Reaver Titan is still 2,200 points. What am I ever going to do? I can't even use it in a 2,000-point game. Eldari, no changes. I think finally, after months, a year and a half of Eldar tyranny, there are 0 changes in this data slate for Eldar. This might be the first data slate in 10th edition where Eldar didn't get touched once. However, it's the calm before the storm. If you know anything about this game, you know when there's an Eldar book on the horizon, shit's about to get crazy. Okay? Like, if you know anything about this game at all, you can only expect that the Eldar Codex, with a whole bunch of new models, is going to be wild. Okay, so don't hold your breath. Enjoy this lull for like 3 months or whatever it lasts. I have no idea what's coming, but if history tends to repeat itself, it's tending to repeat itself, and I wouldn't be surprised. Oh my goodness gracious. I like to see the big robots. Yep, just in time for Codex. Yep. It's rough that they refuse to buff bad Eldar units like Warlocks. Yeah, but then again, they do have a Codex coming soon, so they probably just were like, you know what? Just don't touch it. You know, Codex coming out. Scary, they gave our Grotesque a slap on the wrist. Yeah, but I ran 3-man units, so nothing. 80% win rate. So you're saying we should play Eldari, says Sub-Zero. I'm just saying. Then we got Forge World stuff, didn't change. Okay. Astra Militarum. Hellhound goes up. Okay. Cadian Shock Troops 10 medals went up. Sure. Catachan Jungle Fighters went up. Sure. They were everywhere. 10 points, though, for a unit. Oof. Chimera went up. Good. Like, they were way too cheap. Gaunt's Ghost went up. Yeah, you didn't see them as often. Leontis went up again. Good, because Leontis is, like, in every list. Ogryns went up. Like, I think the 3 strong Ogryns are actually more important because they go in chimeras. Like, 3 Ogryns in a chimera are actually really silly. Aquilons went up. Good. Tempesto Signs went up. Good. So, like, things that, you know, with the change to Leontis's, like, orders, meaning that you can't order Bullgrins and stuff, you know, not terrible changes. You know, that's fine. Just like all of the little stuff is like, okay, you take a bunch of Catachans and Chimeras, well, that specifically went up, so maybe switch it up a little bit. Switch it up a little bit. You know, there's a thing called Rattling Snipers. You know, use some of them, you know, or whatever. Time to buy an Incarn and Vizark to play Drukhari with broken Eldar rules. Yeah, we'll see what they do with the Inari stuff. Oh, my goodness. Aquilon is the most blatant pay-to-win rug pull they've ever done. Yeah, it's not all. No, Kasserkin were very similar. Very, very similar with Kasserkin. Like, Kasserkin, when they got released in Kill Team, were like the absolute bane. They were so good. There was 3 Kasserkin in every guard list. 30 Kasserkin. And then there was 30 Aquilons in every guard list. Like, it's very, 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 very similar, right? It can't be a coincidence. Hello, Dorian. What's going on? Rattlings. Yay, Mike. What's going on? Black Templars. Okay, so the repulsor goes down a little bit, and the repulsor execution goes down a little bit. Sure. I played Black Templars yesterday, and I played with a big 20-strong Crusader squad with a chaplain, with 10 houses bones and stuff. Oh my goodness, I missed. Just the amount of attacks that unit gets with chainswords is ridiculous. It is absolutely insane. I can't believe they were like 220 points for a unit of 20 or something. No wonder the army of like 100 Crusaders was a thing. That would have been obnoxious. Gross. I think I need to Ivrain. Yeah, Ivrain's pretty good. Then we have Blood Angels. Mephiston goes up a little bit. Okay, sure. He wasn't like the be-all end-all. And then the Rage Field Warrior goes up a little bit. Yeah, you saw that in almost every competitive Blood Angel list. And then Sanguinary Guard go down a bit. Okay, not bad. Still a little bit too expensive, but at least they kind of like gave him a break. Be like, okay, Sanguinary Guard a little cheaper. I wish I could make black paint look good. Yeah. Sanguinius, holy moly. What's going on, Sanguinius? You know, we just went over Blood Angels. And we just said, thumbs up-ish. Sure, that's good. Can't wait to see you playing some more, buddy. Holden, I like Big Centerpiece to Incarn, but damn, that teleport is dumb. Yep, well, at least they nerfed it, though. Then we have Chaos Demons. Bloodletters go down. Sure. Screamers went up a little bit based on their new changes. Other than that, no changes. Nothing to report here. Chaos Knight, Stalker down, Execution down, Huntsman down, and Lord of Dread down. You know, they're just going to keep on reducing points slowly but surely. Be like, oh, less and less and less until you can put 16 War Dogs in a list. You know, that'll be fair and balanced, won't it? Chaos, now, oh, actually, with the new detachment, I cannot wait to see someone do something cool with Chaos Knights combined with, like, the Damned, like all the Damned cultists and stuff like that, and run, like, a really cool Demony Force Chaos Knights with, like, different changes. I want to see it. I want to see it. I think it'd be cool. I think it's nice that these index detachments are getting some cool changes as well. They don't want Chaos Knights to use big knights. They want small knights, like War Dogs. Makes sense. Chaos Space Marines. Bikers went down in a unit of 10. Is that it? That's it. Cool. Chaos Space Marines are in a fine position. You know, nothing too crazy. Rowan says, Scary, what do you think about packing Corplus Cabalites and Incubi squad in a Tantalus? Can you use the Tantalus big size to pivot, disembark, side that you want? Yeah, sure. The Tantalus is just big and unwieldy. You know, it's like, I wish a court could join an Incubi unit. Like, if the court and an Arca could join Incubi, that would be really good. Like, I would really like that. I'd run 10 Incubi, a court, an Archon, and a Tantalus. Be 10 fights first Incubi with lethal hits. Oh, that'd be so good. That'd be so, so good. That screams for cool Dark Mechanic and Conversion Army, yes. Tycho from Play on Tabletop wants to do 100 cultists and a handful of knights. Sounds funny. Super funny. ACDC plus Brigands will be badass as a Dark Mechanicum themed. Yeah, it's cool. I like that they've added some cool things. So into Dark Angels. The only thing that changed, Lionel went up 30 points, but they did make a sweep 2 damage, which is actually very good. Considering how many Space Marines we're going to see lately, and 2 damage on his like stupid amount of attacks on his sweep is good. So is it worth 30 points good? I don't think so. Maybe 20, but who knows? You know? Sure, take your Primarchs, people. Index Death Guard. No changes. Look at that. None whatsoever, except for Mortarion getting Deep Strike. Death Watch Index. Neat. Death Watch players rejoice. You have a point page again. There are points with your army on it. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Didn't you feel like you had been missing out on this? Blightlord Terminator's crying. Sean says, yay! Okay. Okay. Zen time. Stretch. Okay, let's take a little bit of time here. First and foremost, I'd like to formally apologize to the Dark Eldar community for all the pain I've caused. Anyway. Oh my gosh. Okay, we were fine. Okay, we were fine. We were absolutely fine. Like, we were just sitting at like a 48-50% win rate as a faction. You know, like, it was fine. We were okay. Nothing crazy. I think, you know. and then I see this page and I'm like, okay, Grotesque 10-6, sure. Scourge is going up again. That's Inari's fault, so sure. And I look at Raven Bomber. I'm like, oh, that's me. That's me. That's my fault. Anyway, it's just funny. So the Tantalus is cheaper than the Planes now. Literally 5 points cheaper. The Fates, yes. Okay, so Index Rukari, a couple of changes here. You have Grotesques, so 6 models. Go up 10 points. Sure, that's just because big bricks, like, you know, there's a couple people that did like 18 Grotesques and big bricks of 6. Like, I can see that skewing, so like the math. Like, I was running little units of 3, so it didn't really change that like list. Like, my list that I took to WCW went up, I think, 5 points, which isn't a lot. Like, it's actually really reasonable. Paul, could you just throw the next few tournaments to get the Darkkin some buffs, please? I'm sorry. They should have changed the page title to Scary, but yes, Scary nerfs. As for Scourges, yes, they get more and more expensive. They were, at one point, weren't they like 100 points or 95 points or something for 5? Like, when the edition started? Like, they were way too cheap. Don't get me wrong. I think 110 was like the sweet spot. And now they've gone to 120 and then 130 in quick succession. It's because it's not that they're like that good. It's not that they're that good, okay? And they probably see the skew where like they're like, ooh, 90% of all Drukhari armies have Scourge. Well, no shit. It's because they're like the only unit that we have that can survive and provide fire support over the course of an entire game. It's not that they're incredibly good. Scourge are actually objectively like not that good. They're okay. They're like, they miss half the time, and then your opponent makes all their saves the other half of the time. So sometimes a Dark Lance will go through. Sometimes Haywire kills stuff. Sometimes it doesn't. They are not a reliable unit. The only thing that you can rely on them doing is being annoying as hell for your opponent, because they jump out, they shoot, and then they jump back in to stay safe, right? That's like the only thing they're good at. And I would take a Ravager because it's cheaper, except for the fact that a Ravager pops its nose out, then hits, and then dentist wound, or your opponent makes their saves, and then it dies. And I much prefer having a Scourge unit shoot 3 turns over the course of a game and then die than a Ravager that just shoots once and dies, right? Anyway, that's like my little rant on Scourge. But because of that skew in the stats, they're probably like, ooh, they have to be OP, so let's make them more expensive. No, that's just give us a different option that we can use. It's not a Scourge unit that does something similar or provides value to an army list, and then we can put that in instead of Scourge, which has so valuable that we'll pay for them even though they're like 130 points, because they just provide something we can't get anywhere else. Okay. So that's my rant on Scourges, plus probably Inari. Like, you see them in all the Inari lists, so it's once again, they should just make it like an index thingy, like Agents of the Imperium was like, allied units pay extra, you know, like, because it's different in Inari than it is in Drukhari. Is the Void Raven that strong? I don't think it's that strong, but it's strong enough. Scourges are 100% going to be box locked. Oh gosh, please don't do it. As a Tyranid that runs big monsters against Dark Eldar players, Scourge are not that strong. They're okay since they die if I look at them. Yeah, they're not like crazy. Skari waiting for EC to release. I'm waiting for Emperor's Children. Oh, they released that like digital mock-up of like the Blastmaster, right, or whatever, or Sonic Blaster. Nice. We needed the elite versions of our troop back. Trueborn. Oh, yes, it would be great to have a Trueborn unit with multiple Dark Lances and Blasters. Yeah, the newest unit, not new model, new unit, was the Void Raven Bomber back in 2013. I know, we haven't had, like, new models in a long time. As in Aria, would change to Shadow. No, wasn't Drazar newer than that? Drazar was relatively new, like new Drazar. Didn't that come out recently? As an Aria, I could change to Shadow Specters, but I'm almost certain they will go to Legends. So Scourges for me. Yeah, makes sense. Jim, back from the dog walking. Time for the rant. Well, I did go off on a bit of a rant there. Drazar and Lilith are both new. Yes. Skari, going to play Emperor's Children. Even my second faction will get Scaried. I enjoy playing all factions, okay? Just because I'm a faction specialist does not mean I don't enjoy playing other armies. I will take any army. I played Necrons at WTC and got a Necron award, okay? I am the Overlord. Thank you very much. I can play any army. You give me an army, give me 20 games to practice it, and I will play the shit out of that army, okay? But I just love the challenge of playing Dark Eldar. It's like challenging, makes my synaptic connections fire off, produces endorphins of my brain, and I like it. Market Corn. Skari, I'm the captain now. Yeah, Mandrakes are also new models as well. I mean, like, actual new unit. Okay, so not an updated unit, but a new unit that they added. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, last but not least, the Void Raven Bomber goes up 20 points. Why? It was good. It was okay, like 215. Like, it didn't have to go up 20 points. That's okay. I made a list with 2 of them. Still, my Sky Splinter list, it's almost identical to my other Sky Splinter list. It just misses out on the Incubi, basically. But, like, my list doesn't change too much, and I still have 2 Void Raven Bombers. I'm going to be playing it, like, ad nauseum to see if I can still make it work. And if I feel like maybe I go down to 1 Void Raven Bomber, maybe that's the solution, and then do 1 Bomber, and then other stuff. I think that might actually be the way it goes. But we'll see. We'll see. So keep me, like, I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted, Internet. Do we use Reapers now? Reapers? Reapers? Like Dark Reapers? Or like for Inari? I only started in May and I agree Drukhari Risk is fun. It is fun. I challenge you to play Marines with at least 18 Centurions. I don't own 18 Centurions. I have 3 Devastator Centurions. That's it. And they don't even have the good weapons. They have the heavy bolters, I think. Or they're Assault Centurions. But, so I'll play 3 of them. Okay. Last but not least, racks. There's a little bit of a consolation. They said, here's 5 points less on racks. Sure. I do like the fact that you can take 5 racks as like half the cost of a unit of Kabalite, so it saves on having to take a Venom if you just want 5 little dudes. that can go on an objective, and then when they die, they give you pain tokens. So I think like 2 units of 5 racks instead of the second Cabalite squad is probably a good choice, and that's what I've done, is put the 2 units of 5 racks in there just to get extra pain tokens and stuff. I love the fact that Urien didn't get touched. I'm surprised they didn't drop Drazar down, because Drazar is objectively worse than an Incubi than an Archon in a lot of cases. And I do wish that they kind of like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Drop down to 50, make up for Scourges. I know, right? Yeah, like it'd be good if they offset themselves like that, but they didn't. So you lose another unit playing my list, basically. Yeah. Or you can make another list completely. So, moving on. Once again, sorry to the Dark Eldar Drukhari community. That's my fault. My bad. But I find it really funny, and I'm going to keep on playing what I want to play. And I hope you do as well. Take inspiration. Play whatever you want. Sky or Rio, best in your thinking? I like Sky, personally, for the damage output more than anything. So, Genes to the Occult. Ridge Runners went up, Abominant went up, and that's about it. With the point system, like the point buy system, we'll see how that impacts Genes to the Occult. I think it'll be good for Genes to the Occult players, because they'll be able to control what they do a lot better. So it makes it strategically better. Grey Knights. I love the new detachment. Personally, I think it's really cool. And the Dread Knight went up a couple points. So, nothing too crazy. It's like a random 5-point upgrade. Like, why? It's just random. So if you take 3, your list goes up 15 points. It's like such a minor change. It's like they're like, we're watching you. You know what I mean? Like, we're watching Dread Knights. It's like, oh, okay. 9 Talos, says Carl, because that's what I want to do, even though Games Workshop won't let it happen. Well, you could take 6 Talos and then 3 Kronos in singles, and that's 9 Talosy bodies. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Scourges go up 10, but Dread Knight only 5. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Grotmus gives a strong detachment. I'm really looking forward to the detachments for Grotmus, so we'll see what happens with those. Imperial Agents. The Vindicare Assassin as an ally went down. Like, who was paying 150 points for Vindicare Assassin? No one. It's the worst assassin, okay? One shot that either misses or doesn't wound. It is the worst assassin, okay? Just take a Calidus. That's my rant there. Imperial Knights. Helvrin and Warglaives goes down. Again. Like, what? Why? Why? Their Knights are fine. Like, sure. Thunderkin go down. Sure. In Votan. Necrons. Nightbringer, Void Dragon go up. They were on a lot of... Transcendent goes up. So, yes. I'm looking at you, Devin, who took 6 Catan again to the World Championships. Hey, thank you, Bastion Wargaming, for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. Of course, you know, super chats, liking, sharing, subscribing, leaving a comment, heading over to the Patreon page, supporting me on Patreon, joining the Discord, being part of the awesome Denizen community is the best way to support me. Thank you so much, Bastion, for the super chat. Means a lot. Thank you very much. Good. Inari will have separate Dark Eldar datasheets. Yeah, exactly. They're going to change them, but it should give us a hint at what they're thinking for Dark Eldar. Because if they go, oh, here's an Inari Scourge unit, and you get one of every weapon, then that's going to be a big red flag to be like, oh, watch out. They're going to, you know, screw with our, like, Scourges. So we'll see. The Wraiths went down a little bit, sure. Warriors in 10 went down. Destroyers, Ophidians went down. The Plasmancer went down. The Ghost Ark went down. The Immortals in 5s went down. Hexmarks went up. Royal Warden went up, sure. And that's about it. So ups and downs. It's like nothing too crazy for Necrons. I like it. Then we have Orcs. Warboss and Mega Armor go up. Sure. I guess to compensate for their Super Wars now. Nothing too crazy. Chaos Space Marines. Sorry, Space Marines. Infernus Marines went up. They got extra AP, and their Battle Shock is better. Heavy Intercessors went up. Like, 2 damage on them is actually really, really good on all their guns. Calgar went up. Yes. Inceptors went down. Good. See, like, 3 Inceptors for 120 with Plasmas is actually really good. Or with Bolters, you know. It's not terrible. Reavers went up because they got a boost. Uria went up because he's an Ultramarine and he was used in Vanguard a lot. Gulliman went up 60 points. 60 points. I think you're going to see him. Even at almost 350 points. But then I think he'll go down like 10 or 15 points. You just watch. Scouts went up because you saw them all the time. Stern Guard went up, yeah, because they're going to be ridiculously good. So, yep, makes sense based on the changes. Wolf Scouts went up and Wolfen went up. Sure. You know, nothing too crazy there. I guess we're running a bunch of Wolfen for the Wolf Jail. The Tiger Shark went up. The Tiger Shark went up 50 points. That's Zach's fault and all the Tau players that ran one or two of them. Thousand Suns, no changes. Actually, really good. Thousand Suns still very strong, very good army. I think in general they're just still one of the best armies in the game. Tyranids, Assimilator, and Emissary went down. Trigon went down. Tyrant Guard went down. I love a Hive Tyrant Guard with the advance and charge enhancement from the new detachment. I think that's hilarious for a big brick of Tyrant Guard and a Hive Tyrant. Hilarious. World Eaters, nothing. No changes. There you have it, folks. All of the point changes, all of the balanced data slate changes, everything that you wanted to know. So let's go into some conclusions here. How is the meta going to change? Well, I think what they've tried to do is inject Space Marines back into the cultural zeitgeist of the game. Power armor. They want power armor to mean something. You know, Chaos Space Marines is still there. You know, nothing too changes. Like Thousand Suns, Death Guard, World Eaters are still going to be a thing. As you can see, they didn't really change too much. But I feel like there might be a bit of a Space Marine wave a-coming. And that's because of their impacts with like the new Oaths of Moment combined with a lot of their cool datasheet abilities. And I would be surprised if it doesn't have a big impact in the game. Now, Guard getting some changes, sure, it's going to change them to be like not impactful. No, I think they're still going to be very, very good in the meta moving forward. And I think one of the biggest winners of this whole thing is Orcs. I think Orcs are going to have a very fun time being able to control their war turn, which will make them way more effective. And I think that's going to like change the shape of the meta. Genes the Occult also being able to control what they bring back, that's going to change. So we're going to have like, you know, right now Genes the Occult and like we've got some good armies at the top, like Guard, Genes the Occult, all that stuff. They're going to stay at the top, I think. But Space Marines, I hope it's a big enough change to get Space Marines from the bottom of the pack to at least the middle of the pack, so we see, you know, so many Space Marine players out there already that I hope it has a big enough impact on the game as a whole. And I might, you know, as a Drukhari player, you know, it's going to change like what we do. Sure, I'm still going to try the Void Raven Bomber. Sure, we'll see what the new detachment brings, and we'll see sort of like if that impacts list building in any way, or like, you know, making some units cooler or not. So who knows? We'll see. I think it'd be cool to find out as well, right? Inject, interested choice of words. Take the Marine. Play on AOC really helps Orcs. Yeah, so AOC change is a bit of a nerf to Space Marines, but they get lots of buffs. I don't know. It feels good. So let me know what you think with a comment down below. Huge shout out to all of you for hanging out with me today. Of course, I'll be doing some little updates and videos on the detachments as we go. We're coming up to the end of the year. And yeah, Void Raven Bombers, totally my fault. I'm sorry, but not sorry, because I'm going to keep on playing what I love and what I enjoy, and I encourage you to do the same. Go out, play games, test things. You know, creativity is where, like, the love of the game happens. I still need to find a ticket for the LVO Champs. I need to find a place to stay for the LVO Champs. But as soon as I've sorted that out, I hope to be able to say that I'll be going to LVO. So stay tuned for all that stuff, but I really want to go to LVO, so that would be awesome. Other than that, yes, the Berry Bash tickets going up in an hour or so. That'll be posted up on the Berry Bash Facebook page. Other than that, thanks all for hanging out with me today. Let me know what you think with a comment down below. Share this video if you haven't already. And I really appreciate all the support on Patreon. See you on the Discord. I've been Skary, your grateful host, signing off until next time. Void Raven Bombers are still good. Ah, the Dark Kin. Bye, everybody.